the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial, and today we are painting the Desolation Squad from Strike Force Agastus. Yes, here they are, the new heavy support choice found in the new box. They are big gun boys. And that's all we'll say about them. They have been primed in Grace here. They've been sent to me early by Games Workshop to paint up and review and build and all that good stuff for you. And so that's what we're going to jump in and do. We're going to be painting them as Blood Angels, as you may have noticed on those shoulder pads. And the colour we're going to be using first is Baal Red. Now we're going to be focusing on these two because, well, we've done the other three. And, well, there's only going to be some differences on these two. That's all we need. So we're just going to apply the Baal Red all over the top of all of the armour, excluding the helmets. And on our sergeant here, we're not going to apply this over his shoulder pads either. But otherwise, you just want to go nuts. Well, don't go nuts. That's how the Black Rage gets you. So with that Baal Red all applied, what we're now going to do is going to shade all of that red armour using a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Blood Angels Red and Contrast Medium. And we're just going to go over the top now in exactly the same way. However, we do need to just be a little bit more careful here, as Blood Angels Red is a classic contrast paint, so it is prone to doing a little bit of pooling if you're not careful. But that's why we got the Contrast Medium in there, just to even things out and keep it wetter for longer so we can keep moving it about. So with the Blood Angels Red and Contrast Medium mix applied, our red armour is now shaded and, well, it's time for us to move on. So the colour we're going to be using next is Black Legion. I'm going to be applying this over the top of a number of different details. So the first place we're going to be doing this over the top of is the Aquila on the chest. On our sergeant, we're going to be picking out the shoulder pads. We're going to be picking out the soft joints in the armour. The belts and leather details. And the weapon casings. So with that Black Legion all applied to all of these details, as you can see, all the way around, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Leviadon Blue and we're going to apply this over the helmets of our troops of the Desolation Squad. That's because these are Blood Angels heavy support options and they always have the blue helmets. With the Leviadon Blue now applied, it's still drying at the moment, but what we're going to do is move on to the next colour, and that's going to be some Screaming Skull. I'm going to apply this over the top of the parchment of our purity seals, for example, just down there, like that. And we're also going to apply this over the top of our sergeant's hair. So with that skeleton horde applied, we then take some Volupus Pink and we apply this over the top of the wax seals. So with that done, we've pretty much just got one last contrast paint to apply, and that's going to be some Fyreslayer Flesh. And we're going to apply this over the top of this chap's face. So with that done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors and we're going to apply this over the top of rather a lot of the details. This is going to be areas such as the mechanical areas on both of the weapons, on the Sergeant at least. It's going to be the kind of the sights on their backpacks, or signum, all that kind of thing. We're going to be looking at areas like the belt feed, just there. We're going to be looking to pick out this kind of panel on the magazine. And various other details. So with all of that Iron Warriors applied to all of these details, as you can see, what we're going to do is we're going to apply our final base coat, and that's going to be some thinned down Retributor Armour. I've got some there on my brush already, just going to grab the stuff I actually want. And so what we're going to do is we're going to apply this over just a couple of the remaining details. So in the case of the Sergeant, we've got the Aquila here on his shoulder, or rather winged teardrop. Like that. And we've got the teardrop itself. Whereas on our other dude, the only bit of gold that we have here is the teardrop itself. So with that done, all of our base coats are now on the Desolation Squad, so that means it's time to add some shades. Now the first one we're going to add is some Nuln Oil. I'm going to be applying this over the top of all the black and all of the silver details. So with that done, we're then going to take some Reikland Fleshshade and we're going to apply this over the top of the gold details. And with that Reikland Fleshshade applied, we then take some Blood Angels Red and we apply this over the eye lenses. So with that done, our Desolation Squad is now what I would call a War Hipster battle ready, and they're already looking pretty good. However, we're not going to leave them there. No, we're going to take them to the next level, and we're going to do this by adding some layers and some highlights. Now, our first layer that we're going to do is actually going to be some thinned down Kantor Blue, and we're going to be applying this over the top of the flat panels of our helmet. And this is because Whilst the Leviadon Blue does a perfectly good job of giving us that blue helmet, because the rest of the armour is so nicely blocked in after having that Baal Red followed by that Blood Angels Red contrast medium mix, we just want to kind of get it as strong and as flat a colour as the rest of it. Although, to be fair, it's not really all that much of a flat colour. So we're going to take the Kantor Blue like I'm doing here, and I'm going to apply this over the top of the flat panels, just avoiding the recesses, like that, and it just strengthens the colour out. So it looks as kind of strong a colour as the rest of the red. So with that Kantor Blue applied, as you can see, we've now got that nice strong blue colour to match our red. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Corax White next, and we're going to apply this over the top of any missile tips. So with that Corax White applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Evil Sunz Scarlet. I'm going to use this to highlight all of the red armour. So you just want to pick a place to go, and then just start making your way around the model. So with that Evil Sunz Scarlet all applied, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Fire Dragon Bright. We'll do it on this one. And we're going to use this on the sharpest corners and upward facing details of our Marine's armour. So for example, just here on the belt, I'm going to add a little bit of it just on that corner there, and on that corner there. Same again there and there. And we're just going to go around the outside of the central part like that. What we do also need to do is add a little bit of a Fire Dragon Bright just here and here, just to complete the belt. And then we've got the gorget as well, so we're just going to come all the way along. Put a little bit of it there in the middle, like that. You just want to go around like this until you're happy. So with that Fire Dragon Bright all applied, what we're then going to do is move on to our blue helmets. And the colour we're going to be using here is Alaitoc Blue. I'm going to once again just be picking out the edges. Just like this. And with that done, if you want to, you can take a tiny little bit of Hoeth Blue and just apply this to the corners up here on the helmet, and a little bit of it down the front of the face grill. Like that. So with all of our armour finished across both of our miniatures, what we're now going to do is move on to the next colour, and that's going to be all the black details. And the colour we're going to use to highlight these is some thinned down Dawnstone. And what we're just looking to do is, as always, just picking out the edges across all of our black details. So with that Dawnstone all applied, as you can see, we've got some really cool looking black details now. So what we're going to do is move on to the next one, and that is going to be the silver details. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Ironnbreaker here. I'm going to use this to highlight all of our silver. I'm just going to start here on the belt like this, just picking up that edge all the way along. And then making my way downtown. Just like that sort of thing. But in addition, with the Ironnbreaker, what we're going to do is when it comes to any lenses, like this one up here on the Signum, we're just going to relayer like that to make it nice and bright and shiny. So you just want to go around like this, and then once that's done, we'll come back. So with that Ironnbreaker all applied, what we then do is take some Liberator Gold, and we use this to relayer our teardrops and highlight the gold around it. Just like that. Similarly, over here, we're gonna highlight the wings and do the same thing on the teardrop. So with that Liberator Gold applied, what we then do is take some Blood Angels Red. We apply this over the top of the jewel in the teardrop. With that Blood Angels Red applied to that teardrop, what we're then going to do is we're going to use two colours, Talassar Blue and Ork Flesh. And we're going to be using this over the rest of our lenses and gems. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Talassar Blue and we're going to apply this over things like aiming sights. So we've got this one here on the end of the launcher, like that. And then up here, we're going to apply it over this one here. This one here, and this little one up here, like that. And then similarly on his arm, I'm going to apply a little of this Talassar Blue over the top of the 4 small buttons just there, like that. Additionally, we're going to use Ork Flesh. I'm going to apply this over our larger screens. So for example, the big gem up there. Like that. And a little screen down here. So with those lenses and screens all sorted out, we're then going to take some thin down Fulgrim Pink. I'm going to use this to highlight the wax seals on our purity seals. those wax seals now highlighted, we're then going to take some Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight the face on our sergeant. With that Flayed One Flesh applied, we then use some Black Legion. I'm going to apply this over the top of any of the little kind of service studs and plugs on his head. Just put one just here. Like that. And we're also going to apply this over the top of his eyeballs. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Screaming Skull and we're going to use this to highlight the paper. We're going to use it to highlight our sergeant's hair. And we're going to apply a tiny little dot of it in each corner of his eyeballs. Like that sort of thing. So with that, our sergeant is now finished. So we can pop him to one side, and we just got one last thing left to do on our normal marine, and that is to take some Lugganath Orange and just add a little tiny line of this going across the middle of the eye lenses.
So with their bases all complete in the same style as the rest of my Blood Angels, this Desolation Squad is now finished and ready to rain missiles down upon their opponents from afar. They are an interesting one. I like them a lot more now that they're painted in red, I have to say. In fact, I really like them now that they're painted in red. I like lots of things once it's been painted in red, and that's why I'm a Blood Angels fan. Let's be real. But it was quite fun to do them, and I enjoyed myself, and I know a lot of you like them, so that's really, really cool, and I hope you enjoyed this one and found it useful. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you want to support me further like these legends and bosses on the screen before you, you can do so. Head to patreon.com/warhipster or head to ko-fi.com/warhipster. Alternatively, you could become a YouTube member by heading to the channel page and clicking on the join button just here, just like these amazing, wonderful people have done. And if you really like this video or you just want to shoot me some support, you can click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.